Hello, everyone. So today, one more episode of Splendid 7. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to people from all over the world viewing uh, this conversation with our wonderful guest today, poet Dustin Pickering. Welcome, Dustin. Welcome to the 29th conversation of Splendid 7.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's an honor to have you on Splendid 7 and viewers. I must tell you that Dustin is very is a wonderful person and a very talented poet, and he is into anchoring as well. So today I will be starting this conversation with you, Dustin. But before that, I'll be reading your bio. And before that, I'll be telling you a little bit about the show. So there are seven questions, and then you read your poem. Then I read either thought of the day or a poem, and then you give a golden pen message to our viewers. So this is, and then we wrap up the show. Okay. So now I'll be proceeding with the bio. Dustin, ready?
hmm
Okay. So viewers, Dustin Pickering is founder of Transcendent Zero Press. He has contributed writing to Huffington Post. Its cafe designs every day, the Statesman India, Journal of Liberty and International Affairs, the Colorado Review, World Literature Today, and several other publications. He is placed in the top 100 out of 12,500 entries for the Arbache Prize in 2021 and was a finalist in Adelaide Literary Journal's first short fiction contest. He was longlisted for Rahim Karim World Prize in 2022 and given the honor of Knight of World Peace by World Peace Institute that same year. He hosts a popular interview series, World Inkers Network, on YouTube. He is 42 years old and lives in Houston, Texas, USA. What a wonderful and enriched profile, Dustin.
Thank
So,
you.
and now time to start with the questions. Are we ready?
hmm
Mhm. So here comes the first question. Uh, what does your name mean? Who gave you your name?
My full name is Dustin David Pickering, and roughly that would translate. I've looked up the meaning, and it translates to beloved brave warrior at the top of the hill. And my last name comes from my grandfather and his side of the family, my maternal or my paternal grandfather Pickering and married into the Rawlins family, my grandmother, and that's where my name came from. Dustin and David. David is my father's name, and that's where that came from. And Dustin was, from what I understand, kind of a mystery. But I was told my mom came up with a name from anything from Dustin Hoffman. She was apparently a fan of the actor to she felt like it was a romantic kind of sounding name, and so she chose that name. So that's the story behind my name.
That's a wonderful story behind your name, and it's a strong meaning name. And
Yeah,
I must tell you that Dustin was a very famous name in 1980s. Yes, people used to give Dustin their kid's name a lot.
hmm.
Yes. And now comes the next question. Uh, one of your favorite books, and what is the best thing you like about that?
I have a pretty fair number of favorite books. Of course, one of my top books would be the Holy Bible because it's just so full of ideas, wisdom, philosophy, beautiful poetry, an interesting, thought process behind it, and I like the entire structure and everything of the Bible. I also like "Thus Spake Zarathustra" by Friedrich Nietzsche because basically the same reasons. It's a lot of intense ideas. I like the language; it's very beautiful. It's interesting, and it's a very honest depiction of his mind, and I think it was also very artistic. And of course, another book by him that I really respect is The Gay Science, or also known as Joyful Wisdom, which was it's a set of aphorisms, and it's really powerful thoughts. And I just like Nietzsche. Anything by Nietzsche really kind of makes my mind spin because he's so in depth as a thinker, and he has so many interesting and creative ideas. I also like the essays of Ralph Waldo Emerson, which oddly inspired Nietzsche. I was introduced to Emerson before got into Nietzsche. I think about the same time, almost the same time I did. I like John Milton's Paradise Lost. It's beautiful. There's let's see what else. I can name probably a few more. Um,
What about
Sylvia Plath.
Call
Hmm?
of the Wild?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Call of the Wild?
All of the what?
Call. It is Call. Call of the Wild. It's a story about,
Oh
Buck.
yes, yes. I'm familiar. Yeah, I read that as a kid. Yeah. Yeah, I read that in Jack London.
And
Yeah, and that was a kid book when I was a kid. I read. I think it was about something like 11 or 12 years old when I first read that. Yeah, that's a good one. I also liked uh uh anything by Sylvia Plath. Bell Jar, her collected poetry. I like Federico Garcia Lorca and his poetry. I like E. Cummings, Bob Dylan's works of his literature. I mean, there's a pretty good list. I could just go on and on, and name a few more. I mean, I could think. Um, there's a pretty good list. It takes a little time, but I can think of quite a few.
yeah, it's actually so many. Even if this question was asked to me, I would have only remembered one or two names. But it seems you are a avid book reader because
My life, pretty much.
remembering so many writers' book name along with their writers is really great. So wonderful to listen to so many poets, so many books. Or you can, if you want to read any of them, you can, because I am very sure that these books must be enriched with one or the other message. So, yes, I will also talk about as Dustin said, that the first book he mentioned, book or a great book, we can say, on Bible. Similarly, in India, as we say that Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it's an, it is said that there is a solution to every problem in there. It depends how much deeply you read it. So, though I haven't read it till now completely, I have, read it in parts. So, yes, these books are, I have read something of, some parts of Bible as well, not as in Bible, but, my primary school was Christian school, and there, sometimes when teachings are there, so we were told, and I really love them, and it imparts strength and knowledge. It's wonderful.
Hmm.
Next question. And now we will move on to something very light. And which word comes to your mind first when you listen to the following words? The one word which comes to your mind first. Peaches. Peach.
Peaches. What's the first word that comes to my mind when you say peaches? Hmm. Sweet.
Food. Pho. Pho is a delicacy of Houston. It's a kind of signature dish.
Hmm.
Have you ever tasted it?
I don't think so.
Okay. So actually, I read it somewhere that pho is a signature dish of Houston, and it's a delicious and it heals everything. I don't know what it is made up of, but okay, I'll change it. So next comes mountains.
Kind of funny. There's a mountain range called the Grand Tetons, and I visited them when I was about 14, and that's what I think of.
Okay, and next comes family.
My aunt, Deborah.
Okay, so next question is which one makes you most happy? Which of the following make you most happy? Eat food, take an interview, write a poem, go for a walk, or talk to your loved one. Shall I repeat?
It'd be a probably be a pretty close tie between talk to my loved one and also write a poem.
Okay, yes. And that's pretty, uh, both of them are something you love.
Hmm.
Right. The next question comes. You have, inclinations to colors.
Hmm.
So next question is about colors. What does color gray signifies according to you?
Ambivalence and ambiguity.
Pardon, please?
Ambivalence and ambiguity.
Okay, ambivalence and ambiguity.
Hmm.
Okay, that's a crisp answer. And next question comes. Uh, Actually, I'll add something to the previous question. If uh, uh, if you are asked to select one color for your book, say book cover, so which color comes to mind first?
Probably blue.
Blue? Yes.
Hmm.
It's blue signifies so many things.
Hmm.
And now I'll take off my specs. Usually I don't wear them during question answers, but today talking to you, Dustin, I forgot to take them off. So, so here comes the next question, and it's which is your favorite backpack place? As in
What?
backpack place, as in where do you love to go to?
Uh, hmm. If I had to pick a city specifically, New York City, I really enjoyed.
Okay. Any place specific in New York?
I actually stayed in the financial district for about 4 days, and I really enjoyed just the general spirit of the place. I mean, it was really nice. It's right near the Statue of Liberty, and I took a ferry to Manhattan and to Governor's Island, and I really liked it. It's right there by Battery Park where Occupy Wall Street happened, when that where that started. And it's just a lot of history there. There's a lot of history in New York City, and it's a really great area just to visit and wander around.
Okay. It has been few months. I am in US and I have not been to New York yet. So it's a place left. But I've been to California and yes, California and Orlando. So
Hmm.
these were good places. I like them. But New York is still in the list.
It's a wonderful place.
Definitely heard a lot about it.
Hmm.
The next question and the last question is given a chance to serve a social cause, yeah,
Can you
given
repeat that?
given a chance to serve a social cause like what will you select? Child education, preserve nature, or pet care? Social cause as in doing something good, something.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying now. Um, I like to think child education.
So you'll be doing something in child about child education.
I
That's
think that's what I would choose. Yes.
okay. That's really something most of us choose. because education is very important.
Mhm.
So this was all about questions. Now time to listen to your poem.
Okay, well, I'll pull this one out. I wrote this one just yesterday, so it's fresh, and it's
Oh,
a very strange poem. And I call it Letter.
letter?
Red, it's called Letter. The name of the poem is Letter.
Okay.
Red air fills her lungs as thoughts circulate. The blood of her mind, transparent and true, seeks love's satisfaction. The darker charms of those surrounding her keep her in this vehement prison. And the eastern stars of hearts unlimited, she speaks the damned into a thrust. He is on the precipice, as Sappho was for the ferryman, only it is not love torturing her, but rather indecision. The chasm below is filled with salty brine, reddened by the sun. While she assumes a passing posture, yellow light strikes her brows with delight. Her heart palpitates with struggling affections. The darker prisons of her extant being grant her the keys to her own cell as she leaves it for another life. Ahead of her is a line of Sapphics, unwritten, thoughtless, made of iron and joy. Thank you.
Wow. It's so soothing. It's what
Thank you.
the desires made of iron and
The Yeah, at the end there's the line of Sapphics. A Sapphic is a form of verse, formal form of verse that was invented by Sappho, the Greek poet.
okay. It's a beautiful poem shared by you, Dustin, with
Thank you.
both of us. And now it's time to read a poem and read a poem today. So, so the poem which I am going to read, the title is To Begin. To begin is most important step. There may be adverse situations, moving ahead may have certain limitations. There may be dismay, but always remember as they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. Once you begin, leave no stone unturned. Give your best, go the extra mile. Remember, to pull your weight, you have to be agile. Give your best, forget the rest. And always remember, as they say, the road to success is always up. Last paragraph is road ahead may have ups and downs. Never fall apart. Remember, it's your decision to move ahead. Sorry. And it's, I'm so sorry. Road ahead may have ups and downs. Never fall apart. Remember, it's your decision to move ahead. How you reach is the thought which has always led. Just keep moving on as you have to go to great lengths. You have to fight tooth and nail. There is a saying worth remember, we are what we repeatedly do. So this was an inspirational poem which I included in one of my ebooks, and that's it. And viewers, now after listening to beautiful and crisp answers to the questions and a unique, beautiful poem of Destin, now it's and then an inspirational poem of mine. It is time for a golden pen message.
Hmm. I think it's important if you're going to be a writer that you read a lot. It's extraordinarily important to absorb as much, ideas and knowledge as you can, and learn to craft language very eloquently and succinctly, and build a vocabulary. That's a good first step, is building a very good vocabulary with reading. I read the dictionary as a kid, So I think that was something that was really important to me. I don't know why I did that, but I learned to read. I sat and read the dictionary for some reason, and I think it's important also to experience a lot in life and to just take it as it comes, as the Doors song goes, take it as it comes, and just let life flow into you and not take things personally. Life is very tricky and hard, but it's also very rewarding. And just focus on those rewards, and when you're experiencing difficulty, just remember that there's something good on the other side of that. Like a lot of times you have to trek up the wrong hill. Long time you go up and up and up and up, and it's a very difficult step. But when you get on the other side, there's great light and joy. So that's what I would say.
Wow, what an inspirational message. Right. Life, there are ups and downs, but yes, the life is to live, and then comes the happiness.
Right.
Right. So, is there any secret of yours about reading?
A secret about reading, uh, personal or like, or
Uh,
a secret about reading. You know, I don't know. I can't think of anything specifically. I read voluminously. I read everything. I read everything. I used to read textbooks. I used to read you know, I used to read psychology textbooks voluntarily. I would just pick up psychology textbooks. I read economics textbooks and just everything I could find. But I think it's a good idea to not be too wise, but at the same time to just appreciate the language of reading. When you're reading, you don't necessarily have to understand absolutely everything you're reading. You just understand to an extent that you enjoy and appreciate what you're reading.
yeah. If you get into so much depth, then it becomes like the mind gets tired easy very soon, and we just try to close the book and just leave.
Right. You overthink things. You have 100 possibilities of what this one sentence might mean, and you end up running into an obstacle with trying to understand what you're reading, and it's very hard to really enjoy something when you have so many ideas possible. When you don't know what you're reading, or understand it.
Such advice coming from a master in reading, because I have seen that he loves to read. So he has a personal experience about reading. And Justin, I'll tell you that there was a time when I used to flip the book, I used to read only 2 pages at a time. That's it. And then my mind, because I used to try to understand every word of it. Just so
Right.
yeah, so I used to get tired, and it felt like I have to give exam about the book. But it is
Hmm.
not like that. It should go like a river. We should just keep reading like a story. So
Right. Just enjoy.
yeah, so then I read Alchemist, and a novel by Paulo Coelho. And then later on, I read more of his books. And then I came into a flow of reading. And after that, I developed more habit of reading. But before that, it was really very difficult. But I don't know it is the case with everyone or not, because I was a writer first and then I became a reader. So,
It's a little bit of a both for me at the same time.
okay. So it was a wonderful conversation with you, Dustin. And
Yeah.
before thanking you about today's conversation, I would like to talk and mention about today's day is 1st April. That's April Fool's Day. I don't know what is the origin and what is the exact reason, but there are a number of reasons mentioned in on the internet. And but one thing which I conclude or I come up with is that people may make fun of you, may play pranks, and just they laugh, they disguise or celebrate this day in different ways. So what comes to my mind is smile. That smile is something which gives you strength, and I think it is the only downgoing curve, which is loved by everyone. Otherwise, all downgoing curves are tough in life, but this downgoing curve makes your life easy. So just always keep smiling. So, Dustin, thank you. Now I would like to thank you. And it's an honor to have you on Splendid 7. And
You.
yeah, you are saying something, Dustin?
That just thank you is for inviting me.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And thanks to you as well for accepting the invite. So, viewers, this was our conversation with a wonderful and talented poet and a beautiful heart person, Dustin. And now it is time to say bye. So, Dustin, can you say bye to the viewers together?
Certainly. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye, viewers. Thank you for your love and your good wishes for Splendid 7. Keep watching and stay tuned. So, bye, Dustin, and bye, viewers. Thank you once again.